Everyone needs a 50mm lens. And if you are in the market for your own nifty 50, this vintage Olympus 50mm f1.8 could be a nice addition for your camera bag. Olympus produced its own nifty 50 for their OM full-frame camera system from 1972 until 2002. Therefore there are a lot of them on the used market for a stupidly low price. With this no-name adapter I got from Amazon, you can adapt this lens on almost any camera. I used it to adapt this lens on my Panasonic S1 with the Sigma MC21 adapter and shot a little video with it. Enjoy! It's a very small lens for a full-frame one. It's even smaller than the Canon 50mm f1.8. It feels like a pancake lens, which I quite like. The build quality is excellent. It's fully metal and high quality rubber. The focus ring is very smooth and rotates 180 degrees. It extends a little bit while focusing, but it doesn't rotate. The aperture ring clicks in full stops, which is not ideal. I would prefer 1/3 stops, but it's not the end of the world. Overall, the build quality is very nice. I think it's very well made. And since it's a manual lens, there are no electronic contacts on this one. Therefore, you don't get any metadata or autofocus. Let's take a look at sharpness. Wide open at f1.8, from afar it looks quite sharp, but when we look closely we see there is a little bit of softness and a little bit of low contrast that you can also see in the edges. When we stop down by 1 stop we get at f2.8. At this f-stop the lens gets very sharp indeed and the contrast gets much better. And when we stop down 1 stop further at f4, the lens is tack sharp with nice levels of contrast from edge to edge. There is no need to stop down any further, it's already very sharp at f4. Overall I think the sharpness is very impressive for this old and cheap lens. At f1.8 it gives a rather soft and vintage look, which I very much like, and if we stop down to f4 it's very sharp, to the point I would say you can use this for professional work. When we look at vignetting at f1.8 there is a lot of vignetting in the corners, at f2.8 it gets much better, and at f4 it's gone. When we point the lens against the sun we can see there is not much flaring but a lot of ghosting. I think it's not distracting at all, and I think for this old design it handles flaring and ghosting very well. Since this is an older photo lens design, it's no surprise that there is a lot of focus breathing. But the focus breathing is more apparent when you focus from more far subjects to infinity than from close to close subjects. Bokeh is very important for vintage lenses and it's a very subjective topic. For me, I think the bokeh on this lens is very nice, but it can get a little bit busy when you have complex backgrounds. The bokeh balls are nicely round shaped and don't feature any weird patterns or onion rings. When you stop down, the aperture blades get visible and you get the edges. In conclusion, I think this lens is very impressive. For the ridiculously low price of 40 bucks, you get a nice tool at hand. I know there are no electronics and you don't get autofocus, but for a vintage lens it gives you very nice manual control, and shot wide open you get that very pleasing vintage feeling. When stopped down to f2.8 and f4 you also get tack sharp images which can help you for your professional work. I can see myself using this lens in my camera bag for some nice autofocus backgrounds when I'm on an event gig or wedding. For such a low price and great performance, I think this lens is a no-brainer. Let me know in the comments down below if you already own this lens or think about getting one. And if you like this video, please let me know with a thumbs up and a subscription. I hope you have a nice day and create something extraordinary.